Okay, so I wanted to show you guys what it looked like 4 weeks post-operation. I'm not going to video the whole thing like this. I just wanted to show in like this lighting in this mirror. It just kind of helps give an idea of what it looks like. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing huge, but it's definitely what I wanted. I feel like it's very proportionate to my body. Yeah, no, we good. So I got a bunch of questions that I'm going to answer for you guys. I have them all listed and just explain the process. So first of all, I think one of the biggest questions I got was, why did I get it done? Which is a great question. So especially in the bodybuilding industry, it's really common for women to get breast augmentations, also not just in bodybuilding but in the fitness industry in general, because as an athlete you just lose a lot of your chest area, and that's totally normal from developing muscle, losing body fat, and it's just not very common or typical for female athletes to have much of a chest, which is totally fine. I think both looks are amazing. I love the look with big boobs, I like with small. I think it's whatever you want and are comfortable with, and that makes you feel most like yourself. For me, it was really important to feel feminine. All of the women in my family have pretty big boobs, and once I was working out and everything, starting at a pretty young age, like 16, it was during that puberty phase, and I just never really developed much breast tissue, so I wanted to feel more feminine. I wanted to add some curve, and especially for when I diet for shows and lose all of my body fat, it's important to me to still feel like I have a little bit of curve, and it's something that I thought through for a while. I had thought through all this year. I knew I wanted something cosmetic done, and I had done a lot of research on this procedure in particular and met a lot of girls who had had it done and absolutely loved it. So I'm really, really happy with my decision. I'm really glad that I got it done, and I will answer all questions that I wrote down. So I answered why I got it done, who did it. Dr. Michael Marion in Salt Lake City, Utah. I cannot recommend him enough. He's absolutely amazing, and when it comes to picking your surgeon, I think that that is crucial, because it's a permanent, semi-permanent surgery, and I met a couple surgeons here I'm from Bozeman, Montana, so I met 2 surgeons in Bozeman who are great surgeons, I'm sure, but I just think that you have to look at the surgeon's portfolio and make sure that it's fitting towards what you want. And both portfolios just weren't exactly what I was looking for. And also Montana, it's not like a lot of plastic surgery is done here. It's a lot more common in California, Arizona, Texas, but here in Montana, it's just not as popular. So I wanted to look into out of state where plastic surgery is practiced more, just so that I personally would feel more comfortable. And when I did look into that, I found Dr. Marion, who had incredible reviews. I think that was something that was really important when looking at surgeons, was how were their clients happy with the results. Some surgeons, it was like 50-50, some were happy, some were really upset, and almost like I'd say 98% of Dr. Marion's reviews were just phenomenal. Everyone was really happy, and especially those from out of state who made the travel to see him said it was well worth it, and I'm one of those people that I will say the same. It was 100% worth it. He's just very professional, gave his honest opinion as to what would look best on me, proportionate size, let me know all of the cautions when getting this surgery, and didn't try to hide anything, was just very upfront and honest. And I think it's important to meet your surgeon prior to surgery, just to make sure it's a good fit. And I did do that. I met him prior to surgery and felt great about the whole thing. He made me feel very safe. So that's who did it, and I will mention him in the comments as well. So where I got it done, the size. So I personally am a narrow frame. And everyone has a different chest cavity size. So some women have like a very wide chest cavity and can fit a bigger implant. I'm just a petite person in general, and I have an even smaller chest cavity, so I couldn't actually fit that big of an implant. I was wanting to go with between 350 and 375 cc, but that was actually too big for my chest cavity. And my surgeon recommended that I go a little smaller, but that it would look like the appearance of a 350 cc on me just because I'm smaller. So I went with the max that could fit in my chest cavity, which is 325 cc. And then when it's measured in cc's because that's volume, you can't really say cup size because cup size is different on everyone. I just knew that I started from like an AB cup size, and I wanted to be like a large C, small d. So I wanted to go up about 2 cup sizes, which is approximately 200 cc per cup size. So I went up about 2 cup sizes, and next, after the volume of like cc, you have to choose the projection. So like how far they protrude and like how high they sit up is going to be the volume. Sorry, not the volume, but like it's called the profile. So that's how high it sits and projects. So I wanted, let's see, one of the questions actually relates to this perfectly. They were like, what look were you going for? Which is partly why you want to think about your profile. So there's low profile, moderate profile, high profile, and extra high profile. So as you can imagine, like low profile is very natural, like you wouldn't really tell someone how to breast augmentation, it's just totally natural. Moderate is, you know, a little perkiness, but still very subtle. High profile is getting where it's pretty perky and sits high, and then extra high profile is like, that girl got a boob job. You know, it's like very projected. So I went with high profile because I, yes, wanted them to be perky high. And when I did a lot of research, because I watched a lot of YouTube videos like this to just understand how the process worked, I knew nothing about the surgery, and so I had to do a lot of research, and from girls that had done it previously and the size and profile they got, most of the look that I was liking and wanting to go for was high profile. So that's why I chose that. I wanted to go for a look that wasn't obnoxious, that still looked natural-ish, but definitely had a pronounced improvement, you could say. So it's not super natural looking, but it's perfect for what I wanted. I'm super happy with how it turned out. I'm glad with the size, projection, everything, you know, because I also just wanted to feel comfortable around like family and friends and not have it be obnoxious. And especially when I'm in shirts and stuff and you don't know me personally, I don't think you can personally tell too much, you know. So then you have to decide whether you're going to go over the muscle or under the muscle. So you have chest pockets, and that's where the implant is going to be inserted, and you have to decide whether it's going to sit on top or underneath. I would say the most common is underneath because it's a little more natural looking, and especially if you diet down and lose weight, you can't noticeably see the implant as much. Sometimes you can kind of notice the implant when you don't have a lot of body fat, kind of where it's protruding a little bit, but a lot of women want to go over the muscle so that it doesn't compromise them working out as much, but I wanted it to look more natural. I wanted the look of under the muscle, and it's usually more recommended to do under the muscle, and I just decided I'm not going to work chest anymore. I don't really need to as a female and as having this surgery, so I was just like, that's fine. And so I went under the muscle, and then you have to choose, do you want saline, which is like a saltwater bag, it looks like a balloon kind of, or do you want silicone, which is like, I have like the gummy bear implant silicone. I went with silicone, obviously. You have to be 22 years old to go with silicone. I'm 22 years old, and I don't know why they chose that age difference, because when you're 18 you can get saline. Saline has the idea that it's a little safer because if it does rupture, it's just salt water that your body absorbs, whereas silicone, you wouldn't know if it ruptured as easily, and it could, you know, definitely leak and not be as healthy. So that's why they recommend every couple of years to just check on them and make sure they haven't bursted. But also, breast implants have come so far in the last 20 years that silicone is just as safe, if not more, as saline. It's very, very unlikely that they would rupture. And saline looks and feels more natural. I love the gummy bear fit. It kind of just molds to your breast pocket rather than saline. Personally, like, I've seen both and I think they both look great, but I like the saline look was just not as natural looking to me. It was, you can notice sometimes on people there's like rippling where the implant is, so you can like see the implant, whereas silicone just looks more natural and feels natural too. It just feels like my breast. So that's why I chose silicone, and most people go with silicone actually. How much did it cost? It costed me, that was partly like why I was looking out of state versus in-state, like would it be way more affordable in-state? And it's a very similar price across the board, except if you go to California, because they can jack up the prices because it's California. But in Utah, it was the same price to get it done as in Bozeman. So I definitely decided to do it in Utah because more experienced surgeons that I liked better, and just an overall more satisfactory result in my opinion. It was almost 6,000, so I think it was like 5,600, and then once you include like travel and everything, it was closer to 6,000. And I have been saving for like 3 years for this, so this is definitely not something I just afforded on a whim. I worked really hard for it and had a savings account in order to do this for a long time. So it is expensive, but also like very worth it in my opinion for what I was going for, what I wanted, and moving forward. So the process, I drove down with two really great friends. Shout out to Erica and Jess. They drove me, took care of me. I drove down on a Sunday, had the surgery on a Tuesday, and drove back Wednesday. But I was like super out of it because I was so drugged up. So basically prior to surgery, the night before surgery was a Monday. I had to take a lot of medications, which I have to the side of me here that I will show you. Also, I had to wash my body with a special antibacterial soap that's called Hibiclens soap. I got it at Target for like $5. Hibiclens. It's just antibacterial to make sure that you know, any germs or anything sitting on your skin can be washed prior to surgery. Of course, they're going to be extremely clean, but it's just an extra precaution. So I had to wash my body with that. I couldn't eat or drink anything past midnight. They don't want anything in your stomach during surgery, especially if you were to like vomit or something. That's why also you have to take an anti-nausea the night of and the morning before, just because if you're under anesthesia, they do not want any danger of you potentially like vomiting or anything like that, just because it's a lot on your body and everyone's body reacts differently and you don't know. So I was on a lot of medications, so Cephalexin, which that was like a pain med, hydrochloride. I was on Gabapentin for, you know, to calm me down, to get rid of like anxiety, and Celecoxib. I'm probably totally butchering these. I will write them down in the link below just so that it's a little clearer for you to understand what I was taking. But basically, I was on an anti-nausea, anti-anxiety, 2 pain meds, and oh yeah, an antibiotic. I think that's what one of them was. An antibiotic because you don't want there to be any risk of infection, or you know, because you're getting stitching. It's a big surgery done, so you just want to make sure to be as precautionary as possible. Another thing, where did I get it inserted? So there are a couple locations that implants can be inserted by. this one's weird to me, the belly button, I don't think that's as common now, but the belly button, the armpit, nipple, I wouldn't want anyone messing with my nipple. And then the most common, which is under your breast. So I just have like a small incision under each breast where he placed the implant in that under the muscle breast pocket, and then sewed it back up. But there's also like stitches on the inside. That's why it's really important to take it's 6 weeks before you're supposed to train upper body or really do anything intense with your upper body. I feel super normal. I'm a month post-operation. I feel great. I've even 3 weeks is when I went back into the gym to do lower body. But like the first 2 weeks, you're very sore. Like you don't realize how much you use your chest muscles. Let me tell you that. Like even getting out of bed, using your core, everything uses your chest muscles. I couldn't like reach above my head, so I was pretty much immobile for like a week, and then I went back to work after a week. I was really careful with like upper body and moving much. I'm a bartender and a personal trainer, so I just was really careful with what movements I did and just being really gentle and careful. So then going back to my surgery, I had my surgery done on a Tuesday. I was on those medications, and then they give you fentanyl, Percocet. I know, crazy. And then I went under anesthesia. I've never been under anesthesia before. That was my one and only time. I woke up very sad. I was like crying. I don't know, everyone responds to anesthesia differently. But I don't remember anything. Obviously, you're out cold. The surgery takes about an hour. So after about an hour, Jess and Erica picked me up, took care of me, took me back to the hotel, and I just rested. You have to sleep on your back for about 2 to 3 weeks. No sleeping on your side, and you have to stay wearing a surgical bra so that your implants don't move. They sit very high on your chest for a couple weeks, and they're supposed to drop and relax and settle into their place. Mine have now dropped and relaxed. But that takes about, it takes anyone like maybe a couple weeks, couple months, just different for everyone. But you have to sleep on your back for a while, which sucked for me. It was really hard to sleep for the first 2 weeks because one, I sleep on my side, so sleeping on my back was really hard. You also had to sleep on an incline to help blood flow and circulate, especially to your chest area. So I was just super uncomfortable, and then you're also in so much pain, like it feels like someone ran a tractor over your chest like 3 times, and then just like this intense pressure. So it's very painful, and people ask, did you take the pain medications other than Cephalexin, which by that they mean Oxycodine. So your surgeon will probably prescribe you Oxycodine and say if you cannot sleep, like because of pain, you should take the Oxycodine. And I was trying to be so hardcore and be like, I don't need the drugs, I don't need pain meds or anything, I can handle the pain. But when you don't sleep for like 4 days straight, you're like, I need sleep, especially to heal. Your body heals primarily when you're sleeping. So that was really important to get sleep, so I did take Oxycodine. I took it for about 4 days just so I could sleep at night, and then I tried to stop taking it and just take Tylenol. What's crazy, I've never taken any drugs or anything, so I think my body is sensitive. I got addicted to the Oxycodine in 4 days, and I had to go through a week withdrawal, which was like the worst thing ever. So it was like the second week I was having a hard time sleeping because I was now off Oxycodine, relying on Tylenol, and going through withdrawal and sleeping on my back. So that was a nightmare, and just not being able to train was kind of sad because I work out obviously all the time, so that was hard. But I'm so excited because in 2 weeks I can start hitting upper body again with no problems. Like I feel great, I feel normal. My competition physique bikini coach said that I'm one of the fastest recovering breast augmentation clients he's had, and I think that my body's really healthy. I have a strong immune system. I really take care of myself. Took all the precautions that my doctor said. and just had a really great response to the surgery, so I'm really grateful for that. And I would just say that if you're going to get it done, it's not that I do or don't promote plastic surgery. Obviously, I got it done. I love it. I'm very happy with it, but I totally understand people that do not want it done. This video was just created because I got a lot of questions regarding it, a lot of women that have thought about getting it and wanted some information on it. And I watched a lot of these when about to go through the surgery, you know, and just trying to decide if this was something that I wanted to do. I know that plastic surgery is a big deal. I just wanted to get all of the information out there, especially with all the questions I had. But I think I answered everything regarding cost, surgeon size, where I got it done, why I got it done, the process, medication, training. So yeah, it's been a month. I'll return to training in like 2 weeks. I'm still doing lower body. I'm able to do cardio, like walking on the treadmill and stuff, just nothing with like bouncing quite yet. You just want to make sure that everything is settled and in place. But if there are any further questions, you guys know you can reach out to me anytime on Instagram if I missed anything. So don't be afraid to reach out, but I hope this gave you all the information you needed. I think, you know, any size is great. I am happy if you want to get it done. I'm happy if you don't want to get it on, just rock whatever. But I'm super happy with my experience, and I hope this helps you guys, so just let me know.